Hello everyone and welcome back to this video. Today I'm gonna be reviewing some more Fantastic Four figures. This time we're gonna be talking about the Toybiz ones. The Toybiz ones were actually kind of ahead of its time, I believe. Like Hasbro had these small figures we reviewed last time, but Toybiz actually had the nice articulated figures back then. I know Hasbro now has the more articulated and famous figures, but back then Toybiz was actually onto them. They were actually better. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, here's our beautiful reviewing table and we're gonna start with first member of the team, Mr. Fantastic himself. I kind of forgot to position these normally. Alright, here we go. This is our first member of the team, Mr. Fantastic. Now there are a lot of different variants of these figures. There was one which had like a spring in between his chest so you could like stretch him out. I really like that one. I really do hope I get my hands onto one of those again sometime. If I do so, I will definitely make a separate video on it. A few new figures I bought. Anyway, the one we've got right here is the one with elastic arms. Sadly, mine has deteriorated a lot over time and the arms are supposed to be much longer, but I had to burn them back together basically, so these arms really don't look great anymore, but they do still work as arms and they do look a bit silly just like this, but when you actually pose them they don't look all too bad. There we go, that actually looks pretty nice, like he's using his arms. Anyway, let's get over to the articulation of this figure. We've got a head that goes all the way around. We've got the arms that move all the way sideways. This also turns, it has a little thing in it. This one's the same. Chest moves forward, backwards, turns all the way around. We've got these weird ball joints going on here, which do definitely have a lot of articulation. We've got legs that move all the way towards the ass. Moving shoes, and I actually really think this is nicely done. You can actually see the suit going into the boot and the boot just turns around. Feet moving sideways, backwards, forward very far, and toes also move. Now these arms are a little bit weird, but if you don't really like the arms in this figure, there's actually another figure of this Mr. Fantastic which has the exact same mold, and that figure is shape-shifting Mr. Fantastic. He has removable hands and a removable head, and that's why this head actually fell off a few times already. So yeah, they just reused this figure basically. I mean, the other one was first. This is actually a second release of it. Anyway, not much to say about this guy anymore, so let's go over to the second person. The second member we have right here is Susan Storm, aka the Invisible Woman, played by Jessica Alba. I also forgot to mention this is Iwan Crawford both. We went over the actors in the previous video as well, so Anyway, Jessica Alba here definitely looks like the actress, and I don't really like that fact that she does look like that. But yeah, they did do a good job on catching the actor's face in this figure. What they didn't do right is the fucking body. Oh my god, look how fucking thin she is. This is just inhuman. The arms are very thin as well, and I'm actually very surprised at the fact that they managed to pull this off with this much articulation, especially for such a small figure. Not all the joints work very well. As you can see, this arm doesn't really want to go that far, but still, the fact that they managed to pull this off really blows my mind actually. This arm actually does work, so since we're starting on the articulation already, let's just continue. Head moves sideways, downwards, upwards. Body has a lot of joint movement. You've got the first part here that moves. Oh, camera focus on Mr. Richards. This moves, and they actually forgot to paint that, so if you want to make her stand like this, you can see an unpainted part. Anyway, this moves very easily, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah. Stop focusing on Dr. Richards. Legs. These actually don't have ball joints, but they don't move very well. This moves all the way around as well. Legs go inward, outward a bit, but not too far. Do the legs touch the butt? They would be if her feet wasn't that long, so yes. Same thing with the Mr. Fantastic figure. Nice way of removing this joint and not being able to see it very well. Moves all the way around, of course. Feet forward, backwards, and sideways. Toe articulation is also great, but this one doesn't move down all the way. Oh, I almost forgot about the hands, since this figure has hands. Shoulder joint moves all the way around, up, down, etc. This moves all the way around. Hand also moves all the way around, same way it does as with the feet. Hand moves up, down like this, and fingers move as well. Alright, you catch the drift. Now, this one isn't complete. This one actually is supposed to have something else. It came with an invincible stand she could stand on, and she could shoot out invincible Fantastic Four logo thingies. There were also 3 different kind of versions of this one. You had this one, you had one half visible version with the legs being invincible, and I believe the hands as well. And then there was a fully invincible one, which would probably have looked better since you wouldn't have to see her face. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for this figure. Not much to say. It doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty alright, and the joint movement is very, very amazing. The next team member is the Human Torch. Are you still focusing on those? Stop it. Here's Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. He has a light up feature which I had to fix because it stopped working in the head, and I've actually had this figure multiple times in the past, and the light feature in the head stops working very frequently, so yeah, that's not really great. But it does work now, and his head is glued stuck, so it won't stop anytime soon. His arm also had to be glued because it was broken when I got it. I actually found this figure on a flea market when I was quite younger, so it was very used already. I think this is a pretty alright Chris Evans depiction. If you look closer, you can actually see his hair under the flame effect. As you can see, that really does look like Chris Evans, his face, but I do think they make his head a little bit too small. It looks a bit bigger because of the flames, but compared to his neck, if you'd only have this, his head is definitely a little bit too small. Other than that, it's a nice face. Let's also get a close look on this Reed Richards face, because this Iwan Griffin depiction is amazing. Yes, this figure has seen better times. Alright. I think I'm actually gonna keep that light on because it's getting pretty dark outside already. Anyway, let's get over to the movement. You've got the same arms as the Invincible Woman, only these ones don't go up as far. This one doesn't go up as far anymore because of the broken parts. Arm moves up, not all the way because of all the fire effects. That's the same thing with the glove going around, which is really nice. There's some glue in here because it's probably been broken. And goes down and up. And the best thing about this figure is fingers move separately. This is actually really, really great. You can make Chris Evans do all kinds of gestures. There we go. Alrighty. I know you all want to see this one, so I'm gonna do this gesture as well. Yes, he can flip you up. It's kind of funny actually, with the OK hand and the flipping off next to each other. Anyway, let's get over to the... Yes, this has the same movement as the Mr. Fantastic figure. Weird joints, but do the job very nicely. And the legs goes back basically all the way, but can't go any further because of the plastic. Again with the boots, move all the way around, and feet also move to the side a bit, but not too much. Back very far and up very far, as well as these toes. These don't go down either, so I think my Mr. Fantastic, his foot is just a bit broken. Now, this figure isn't complete either. This one should have come with a fire tornado behind him to put him on, and that's why these holes are here. And what these holes did is, you could attach him to it, and you can see metal in that. He made fire and his flames were flickering, which means these holes actually have a purpose. You can still put a battery on there and make his light turn on without these small batteries which are already in there. I'm actually gonna show that to you in a bit now. Okay, so I don't have a great battery right now, but I did find this old battery which still works pretty alright. And there you go. As you can see, I'm not pressing the button. I've only got my battery in there, and yeah, it actually still works as a power supply hole. They both work. It's just a little bit lighter compared to the batteries, but yeah. Now, there's also a second version of this mold which has been used, and that's a Human Torch figure with his arms and legs in his normal state. So the arms and the legs would have been his blue suit, and this figure is also very shining through, which is really cool. Now, the next member is, of course, our Everlove Blue Eye Human Torch 2. We have two figures of these fuckers. This figure is a lot different actually. It has better qualities and it has a lot worse qualities compared to the previous one. So let's get this one back in here as well. That's the two standing together, and I actually got a third one from the Toybiz line. This weird skating one. And I got a surfboard as well. It doesn't really stand on its own. Yes, it does now. Here's his surfboard or skateboard or whatever you want to call it. It's like the plank. Yeah, it's a snowboard. It's a snowboard. Fucking. Anyhow, these two figures look alike a bit, but they have better qualities and worse qualities. This also is a really nice Chris Evans figure, by the way. It's just a little bit too big compared to the other figures. That's my only negative point. Oh, and definitely the articulation, because it has to stand on the snowboard. Anyhow, let's get into these two first. What I didn't like about this one is his head. His head was way too small, and this one actually solves that problem. This head is perfect. The only problem I have with this head is that the joint in it is dark, so you can actually see the joint in his face, which makes him look really weird. It looks like he has a mustache or something going on in his face, except if you look from the side. And the way they did the fire in the hair is also really nice. It actually is a different kind of mold. It's like a rubbery piece that's been glued on it. And the coloring is also very, very, very nice. It's nicer than this one. I mean, this one has some coloring, like some red here, some weird fire things on his face I just showed you. But this one is actually really cool. It looks way more orange. It has some red in it as well, especially around the feet areas. And yeah, his back is a bit lacking, but that's because this figure used to be on some sort of gun that shoots fire. You could attach him, you could make him fly, and you could make him shoot fire. And that's the worst problem with this one. Because of that fact, they made him way too thin. Poor old Johnny Storm. He didn't eat anything in a while. He's actually almost as thin as his sister. So I suppose they do really look like brother and sister now. But yeah. Other than that, if you just put him on display like this, like from the front, it really doesn't look all too bad, except for like his middle body that has a weird shape. Like this one actually has a human shape. Oh, there. And the fire pieces, I'm not sure which one I like more actually. Definitely more on this one around the head, but I also really like these firing things going around the arms and legs. However, these one also look really nice, and they are actually glued onto the joints, which is a really interesting way of putting them on there. The only problem is I don't really know what they were going with, since he's flying but his fire is going up anyway, so that's a bit weird, to be honest. If he's just standing like this, the fire makes a lot of sense and it looks really nice, but if you actually use it like this, it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, this one does have a little bit less articulation. The neck is also a bit weird. As you can see, it's very far forward and it's really small, but it does definitely do the job. It goes down a lot, goes up, goes around, probably all the way. I don't really want to risk getting any dirt on there from the backfires. His arms go up, down, all the way around like we just did. This one has more articulation because there's less fire going on and it's way too small. And the hands go forward and backwards, and the fingers are now just attached as one joint. They do actually close, so that's nice. Same for the other hand, but that looks a little bit more weird because the fingers are sculpted like they were standing like this, so you better off just keeping it like that. And this one actually can't really go up that far because the fire is in the way. Same movement as the other one, goes forward, goes backward a bit, but gets stopped by its own back, so that's a bit annoying. This moves all the way around, but be careful with it because it might crack it, and it actually did on mine. As you can see, I had to glue that again. And yeah, same joints in the legs. I have considered moving or swapping heads with these two figures in the past, but I'm not sure. And since this one actually has a broken neck, if I were to do that, I'd have to buy a new one of these. Luckily, they are very easy to get. Oh, and by the way, toe articulation on this one is fucking insane. Look at that shit. What the fuck? Little weird, but alright. Feet are also kind of flat, but that's not too bad. Legs though are very thin as well. That's a bit weird. Anyhow, if I had to choose between those two figures, I think this one looks better, but I really do like this face more. So yeah, I think I'm going with this one. The firing effect just looks nicer overall. I love the coloring in this figure. And I've seen this one a lot of times already, so I think that's also a factor that's playing along with it. And problem they both have is, I think the Fantastic Four logo looks really weird on both. This one's just a red colored one, and this one's weird. It just has a black line on it. Guess that is to show like, oh, you're still in the Fantastic Four, but yeah, I think everyone who has seen the movie knows that. Anyway, let's get to the last figure we have of Chris Evans in the Toybiz line, and that's this snowboarding one. This one looks pretty nice, besides the whole legs thing going on there. It has really nice articulation in the arms, like so. It has hand articulation, doesn't go as far as the others because of the sleeve, fingers. Has the weird logo that's in the movies as well, I think so. And the firing effects on it are really nice. It's just a few flames, which actually adds to the same scene that happened in the movie, because he started to slowly turn on fire. The jacket of mine is a little bit weathered, as you can see, which actually shows this jacket is made of translucent material. I don't know why they choose to do that. I think it's cheaper or something, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyhow, this figure's face, like I said, absolutely amazing. If you're searching for Chris Evans figure, I think this one's the one besides Captain America figures. Legs though, the movement in the legs is very lacking, as you can see. Ooh, there's actually a crack in mine. There's a crack in his crack. Oh, we'll have to glue that later. Anyhow, this also moves, by the way. Actually, it looks like it doesn't, but it does. So that's cool. And his board actually has the same wind-up feature as the other card has of the Hasbro version. But this one actually lights up. I don't know if mine still has batteries, but oh, it seems to be dead. That's to be expected with these old things, but yeah. So what this would do is it would start off slow, but as it happened to go faster, this started to get on the ground as well, and when that clicked in, extrafying effects came out of the vehicle and the lights would go on. Didn't look all too great. There was one light over here and there was one over here, so wow. But still, it's a nice feature. And there you go. Human Torch, aka Chris Evans, aka Johnny Storm. He's actually too tall to be on my camera. There you go. So yeah, that's all of our Human Torches. Now, for the next member, Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. I don't really have a amazing figure. I have this one. It's too tall again. Fuck. It's this one. Oh, this one. There we go. Barely fits on the screen. Which is actually his normal form until you press on his switch on the back, which makes his face turn around to the Thing. Yeah, baby. There you have Michael Chiklis. I really like his face in this sculpt. It's probably the only sculpt they did of the normal Michael Chiklis thing, I'm pretty sure. So I'm kinda happy I got it actually. I used to hate this figure a lot, but since I started appreciating this actor, I really love it now. And here's his Thing face. Anyhow, besides the face, let's get out. I shine in my own eyes. I'm a fucking idiot. Let's get over this figure's articulation. And the sculpting on this thing is really nice too. Like the whole spacesuit thing, it really does look like a spacesuit. And the joints don't get in the way of that. They actually make it look more like a spacesuit. Jesus, suit. Space suit, not shoot. Anyway, let's get over the articulation. These arms are already weird. I mean, you can move the head like so. You can put it to the side a bit. Okay, never mind. Anyway, his arms are a bit weird. They move like this until you move the joint, then it's up and down. So yeah, this looks a bit normal, but most of the poses you can do with the arms don't really look natural. Besides that, you can rotate this piece. You can move this up a little bit, not very far because of the suit. You can move the hand pretty far actually. That doesn't look really nice. And back, not really. His fingers move in and out a little bit. It's not focusing. There we go. Nice details on the hand as well. And the other hand has the gun. This was his play feature. Of course he shot the Human Torch. But yeah, this was his play feature. Just a random gun that doesn't even show up in the movies. And yeah, his hand has a little bit pointy because of that, but it isn't all too noticeable if you just close it like that. This arm is a bit broken, but I fixed it a bit. Anyway, same movements as the other arm, and this obviously moves around. Let's get a good look at the back. This has normal screws in it, so you can actually take it apart, which I did before to clean it a bit. Mine's actually missing a little piece of his helmet here, but that doesn't really matter. And there are some more details in the sculpting, which are pretty cool. Here's another badge on his suit, and the gloves on the hands look really cool too, in my opinion. His legs have the same joints as the other ones, but they're just a lot thicker, of course. This moves around in a really nice way. Just up there, it's a little bit crunchy on mine, but yeah, you get the point. More details with bags on his suit here. His legs actually move back pretty far, especially for such a thick figure. His feet also have a lot of movement. They move back a little bit, forward a little bit. They move sideways. The camera isn't focusing. And the toes move up and down. Anyhow, I think that's all there is to talk about on this figure. Like I said, I sadly don't have a small Thing figure, but that doesn't mean I have got a bigger one. There is actually a second line in the, I mean, there are a lot of lines in these. These are all from different kind of lines. There are like 8 or 10 different lines. I believe there were 8 of these smaller ones, and there was another line with bigger figures like this thing we have over here. This is a, how tall is it? I don't know. I don't really do inches. Here's it compared to my hand. It's pretty big actually. So yeah, there were bigger figures. I plan on getting a few of these soon as well. I want to get the Human Torch. There's a Chris Evans one, that one that's fired up and the one that's fired down, and I'm not sure which one to get yet, but I'll definitely make a video on that if I get it. Anyway, for this thing we have over here, I can only use one hand because I have to hold my phone. The head moves sideways, up and down a little bit. There's a hole in his chin. And this face actually looks really nice. This looks like a thing face to me, especially for talking about the movies. Maybe a little bit less about comics, but I'm actually gonna put my camera down anyway. I'm gonna see how much I can record like this. Sorry if the audio is only coming out of your left ear at the moment, but that's because I'm only at the left of my phone. His arms have big joints, but they only turn like this, they don't go up or down. These move sideways all the way around. Hands move like that as well. Looks weird if you misplace them though. This also moves. There's actually a joint in the hand itself, as you can see. Same goes for the other hand. This is in a fist position, so it looks a bit weird if you put it like this. Kind of funny actually. And his body has a middle swivel as well as this one here. His legs are really weirdly articulated. I'm just gonna say that right now. This moves up and this moves as well, so they're basically just slices that move around. I'm gonna get my leg. Same thing goes for this leg. And if you don't put them in the right position, he will never be able to stand. As well as these also move. They look really weird if you misplace them. Like only an inch, it looks already weird, as you can see. So you don't really have that much choice in the legs. So yeah, that's the big figure of the thing. But they didn't stop there. Here's an even bigger version of it. And this one's actually very soft, look. I think it's my favorite thing figure I have. It's almost like a plush, but non-plush. It's really weird. And it's also really weird that it's just a bit bigger. Like, why wouldn't they just keep it the same size? But, I like it. Weird approach. I like it. Anyway, this thing doesn't move at all. You have to move it yourself, so it's very childly suitable. So yeah, this thing is actually really shock-proof. You can push him around, punch him around. Ugh. You can give it to a child. They can only eat it. That's the only thing that can go wrong. His cock is pushing in. Anyway, that's not sexualized or beautiful blue eyes thing. The bigger ones don't have features. This one does have a feature. As you can see, it's able to talk and how exactly. There's no clicking system on it or anything. The batteries go in his feet, but there's no button. So how do you press it, you may ask? Like that. And as you can hear, I sadly don't have the American version. I don't even have the Dutch version. I am Dutch, but I don't have the Dutch version. I have a fucking Frenchman speaking, and his voice actor, the voice actor itself is not bad. He's just not a thing voice actor. Let's just be fair. Yeah, I have no clue what he's saying. Oh god, that's the worst one. That's the best one. Yeah, right. Okay, so you would be thinking that, okay, so you have the whole team here. Even though you didn't have a normal thing figure, you chose the weirdly sized thing figures. So now you have all of them, right? I went higher than that. I went higher. Allow me to introduce something to you. I'm actually just gonna show you a video first. These guys ain't nothing compared to what I'm gonna get right now. What the fuck, dude? Ah. Bro. Bro. Holy shit. Holy shit.
His adopted son.
Oh my god. Look, he's so sexy. Bro, he's just as big as a fucking chair. Yes, that's right. Are you fucking ready? Hello, guys. Move to the side, motherfuckers. Move to the side. It doesn't even fit on my fucking desk. This huge chunker. The fact they actually made this thing is beyond me. It's beyond me. I don't know what to say about it. I'm so glad they did. If this thing, yeah, were to fall over, it would literally destroy everything I have standing here. This thing is so fucking big. It's actually very heavy too. And it's very crunchy as well, as you can hear. Ooh, that's the only sad thing about it. Oh, and that the arms are a little bit too small. I think they could have been longer. Just that bit longer. But anyway, look at this fucker. It's definitely not in right lighting at the moment. So let's get our other light here. This dude, and they actually fully painted him. Look at all those painting details over his whole body. They went the extra mile with this one, definitely. I have no clue how expensive this thing was in the beginning, but I only paid 30 euros for it. Yes, you heard that right, only 30 euros. There's another one on sale I've seen, which goes for 120 euros. So the fact I got this thing this cheap is insane. Anyway, let's get a quick move down from top to bottom. We have the thing's face here. Beautiful blue eyes. Amazing painting in there. His body looks amazing. They actually kept the same sculpting on every single thing figure. Like the smaller one has the same body. The even smaller one has the same body. And this big one has the same exact sculpting. As well as the face. Look, this line going from his nose to his lips is in every single thing figure. The same goes for his arms and hands. They even use the same fucking hands. I mean, how obvious can you be? Anyhow, we were doing a rundown. There we go. I think they had to make his feet a lot flatter compared to the normal ones, because otherwise it wouldn't be able to stand. So that's why the feet are like this. But if that's the biggest problem with it, I don't really care. Now that being said, they could have obviously made this better with more movement, but I get why they wouldn't do that. So let's get over the movements. Head moves to the side. Doesn't move up. Nope, definitely doesn't. Arms move all the way around. And I actually used his hand as like a stand for my phone if I want to watch something. Just hold his hand like this and move the other one backwards for balance, and then you can basically put almost anything on there without it falling down. So you can just watch videos like this. Anyway, yes, hand also moves. It only moves like this. Same goes for this chunky hand. Moves sideways, and this moves all the way around. His body, oh, this is gonna be hard with one hand. His body moves all the way around as well, but I don't get why you would do that. And his legs, we'll have to put him down for that. Okay, let's just compare them to a normal figure. Yeah, he's a big boy. Anyway, his feet, these are actually a little bit sad. They are very movable. That may just be because this one has seen better days in his joints on his legs. But yeah, they are very loose. Oh, and these legs also move up a bit. Not too far though, because plastic gets in the way. But you are able to make him sit. So yeah, not the best movement, but that's to be expected. And I think if a figure is this big, you can't really complain about movement and articulation and such. Now, I don't think this is my best Thing figure, but it's definitely my favorite Thing figure. If we're talking about the best Thing figure, not movie-wise, we're talking about something like this. This is probably my favorite Thing figure. Has amazing details and sculpting looks amazing, exactly like in the comments. But we'll get into these later in another video. So yeah, that's about all the figures I have to display for you today. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna end this video. No, but to be fair, I really don't know. I can make a promise that I'll make more videos on Fantastic Four stuff, but I know not everyone is gonna like it. If you do though, make sure to leave a like and maybe a comment if you're really generous. And I suppose I'll also do a review on the other figures of the Fantastic Four we have left. Yeah, I may also do a separate video on this boy, just taking him around town or something, because he's just so amazing. Oh my god, I love you, man. If I don't find a wife, I'm definitely marrying this thing. So yeah, I hope you all liked that video. I really enjoyed making it. It's a really nice relief. And I'm so tired. I'm sorry my voice was a bit rambly today, because I'm just very tired. I need more sleep. Thank you, school. Anyway, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and if not, I know where you live.